welcome to another episode of Culture Shock. I am your host, Ricardo Picena, aka the Meditating Cowboy, and this is our podcast number 4. The topic of the day is respect. And our intention and mission for this podcast is to share information which we human beings have been doing since the beginning of time. I know I say that in every beginning of the introduction, and it's not just because it's the introduction. It goes deeper than that. When I hear information, I know everything is information. And the way I mean about that is we were taught what certain things were. So we were given information about certain information, thus creating a program in our mind or a perception. So when I hear the words doing what we humans been doing since the beginning of time, all I can think, sharing information, all I can think of is like everything is information. So it just puts me in a state of mindfulness. So it's a mantra that I kind of do technically. Even when I'm not podcasting and I'm trying to be more loving to other people, that's what I remember. What are we doing right now? We're interchanging information, and then I kind of let my mind roll from there. But thank y'all for tuning in and sharing your wonderful time with me. And respect. According to John Kim, read it from a printout, and this is one of the best descriptions, in my opinion, that describe respect. According to John Kim, respect means no one has power or authority over someone else. It means we don't have to agree with someone to love them. Respect means giving someone space and have their own opinions and judgment. It means to not judge, control, or coherence. I can't even say that word. Y'all gonna have to forgive me. I just sometimes don't know how to say certain words. And it means to let be and grow. Which one thing that I always say is be and let be. So I'm piecing more stuff together. Different words, different ways of explaining the same thing. It's important to ask yourself whether there's trust in your relationship, because if there isn't, it won't be able to grow. Maybe respect is something that's been missing in all your relationships. Maybe it's a pattern. If it is, then you must ask yourself what has been missing. So okay, John Kim's actually a psychiatrist, and so yeah, respect means no one has power or authority over someone else. That's the best definition I can come up with that I feel goes hand in hand with my intention and purpose. Because it's just hearing that means no one has power or authority over someone else. That to me is love. That makes sense. I'm like, oh, okay. That makes sense. So the reason you want to show respect, in my opinion, is because you're not always going to win. Say you really don't give a fuck about nobody else. Say, you know what? Fuck the world. Everybody's against me. The world's against me. Just say you have a pessimistic outlook in life. So eventually, you're not going to have respect, obviously, for anyone because you don't give a fuck. Eventually, you're going to lose because the end of this game, to this life, is death. So you can choose to live your life in a very pessimistic way, disrespectful way. But I promise you're not going to live in a happy state of mind. There's no way. You're going to be stepping on everybody's toes every step of the way. So that's one reason why respect. I also think respect is just another way of showing unconditional love when you respect somebody. And it is hard. It is hard. Don't get it wrong. I'm going to explain a little bit why I fuck up on respect. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you right now, the reason for respect goes against don't go against. It's like, it doesn't matter what I think, like my ego, it does not matter. Respect, for sure, I know I have to build up. So there's just, at least for me, it makes sense. And I hope it's making sense to y'all. Like if it kind of pieces together, if you're having issues in life, maybe it's because you're not respecting the other individual and or the other, whatever process you're going through, whatever's making you feel resistant or like fearful or angry or anxious, maybe you're not respecting that. Maybe you're not respecting that process in life. It's clearly happening to you, because I've had it happen to me. So this is how it ties up to your ego, though, because that's one thing I always go back to: respect. I mean your ego, but respect obviously ties to your self-image. Okay, it ties to your self-image because if you do not see yourself, like I said earlier, if you see the world in a very pessimistic way, and you see yourself as everything's going against you, your self-image is like, the world is against me, then yeah, it makes sense why you will probably have a shitty character, because first of all, you don't respect nobody, and probably not even yourself. And if you don't see yourself, if your ego is that weak where it has to be pessimistic, it just ties to your ego. It is your ego. It is your self-image. So basically what I'm trying to tell y'all is, like, if you're having those type of issues, if you seem to always argue with some type of issue and you're actually trying to grow, because of course the whole intention of this podcast is to grow. If you're having issues in life and you're trying to grow, maybe try to piece how you see yourself with respect, you know what I mean, to yourself as well. So say you're observing your previous words or thoughts on somebody that you don't like, and you know that's not right to be inside of you, so you're trying to manifest it out. So what you do is you see that from a third person point of view, and then you go back to your body and be like, okay, I'm going to respect that other person's point of view because we're having issues, and I'm going to meet them halfway and add respect and build a healthier self-image. I'm going to see myself as that person doing those actions. See, that's how it ties to ego. And then you can manifest it. So we go from thinking to being to doing. So if you're thinking, okay, I see where this issue's coming from, I've not been respecting them. So now you're thinking that, right? And now you're going to be that, like, okay, I know what to do next. Now you're going to embody the knowledge and be it, and then you do it. So you think, and then you go to being, and then you do the action. And then once you do the action, you get empirical knowledge because you experienced it. And that is love right there. That is growth. That is how you grow, basically. Now you can add that to any scenario. And it's just calming your self-image, calming your ego. Like, I know I have a very strong, in my opinion, it's like very strong ego. I'm still learning definitions and words, so I don't really want to say certain words that I think will explain it, because I don't want to make an ass of myself yet. I'm sober, so if I'm sober, it's kind of hard for me to make an ass of myself intentionally. Probably just do it unintentionally. But so yeah, I like explaining how everything ties together to your self-image, because overall that was the reason I made the very first podcast, is to explain ego, because it takes you to listen to this, and it takes your opinion, your perspective, to apply another perspective or an opinion. And that's all part of the self-image. It's all part of ego. We all have one. If you're human, you have one. You should embrace it. You should make a healthy version of it by applying respect and other foundational practices, which is, you might want to go back to other podcasts that I've done, or search professionals. I wouldn't really consider myself a professional, but I have been consciously making a conscious effort to grow since 2013 or 12, when I realized that we have a self-image. That's why I'm so stuck on ego, because I did not know we had an ego till 2012, and I think I was like 22. Can you imagine not knowing that you had a persona you were putting out? Fucking embarrassing. It's not embarrassing, really. It's just when you look back at the things that I used to do, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, was that really me? Or when I look back at some of the Facebook posts and stuff, I'm like, damn, your boy IP was really ignorant. I'm still ignorant. I love to act. And what I consider ignorant doesn't really necessarily mean stupid or dumb. It just means, in my opinion, it just means being goofy and silly and not knowing. And that's kind of cute, in my opinion. Unless they're trying to harm you, that's not cute at all. And how I felt at respect, let me give y'all a perspective on how I fuck up. That way y'all can try to relate with me. Maybe you can. Maybe some of y'all are Jesus in the body and y'all don't fuck up. But after reading over again John Kim's point of view, I definitely don't judge. I make observations. If I throw a judgment, I feel like it's because if we're in a state of my team, we're in a constant state of perpetual growth. So I'm always throwing suggestions, which could be annoying. But my team also knows, they can tell me, P, we understand, bro. We just let us manifest where we're at right now, and we're going to come at you when we're ready. So this is another reason why I make these podcasts, because I can engage with people who want to hear this shit. And I love it. Giving someone their own space and opinions and judgments. I allow people to have that. Unfortunately, I also love to talk about our opinions. I like to question my perspective and other people's perspective. So sometimes it's hard for people to get along with me if they can't do that, if they can't love me without having to agree with me. And I understand. It's sad, to be honest. I've had my heart broken several times, not just from previous, like, say, relationships, like monogamous relationships, but I've had my heart broken by friends, like not even like any intimate, it's just real strong love I have for friends, and it really sucks. But I'm grateful for those moments, and I'm grateful for the growth and learn that I did. I mean, I've learned. It still hurts. I mean, shit hurts, but in the end, it's just kind of just keep going, because that is our choice. We can either dwell on things or we can move forward and keep going, which, man, it's a roller coaster ride. Now, sometimes like I said, my mom and dad are about the only people that I kind of get very, like razzled, because I mean, they're my mom and dad, and they put certain past programs that really did not help me in life. I mean, it helped me because now I know they exist, so I guess I should be grateful in that way. But they didn't help me because I've ruined relationships. But then again, I guess since I'm on a constant, perpetual growth, I need to always see the good things in it. So see, I'm learning as well. I'm learning right now as I'm sharing with y'all. But I don't judge myself overall. And anytime I say I, like me, I'm talking about me. I want y'all to put yourselves in my shoes, because we're a reflection of each other. I don't judge myself. There's a reason why I don't do it. You shouldn't judge yourself, and you should have your reason why you shouldn't do it. And that reason should have a really strong backbone, because you're going to get tested. It's just life. I mean, I like to put myself out there. I love to be social. I like to engage because I feel like I can handle myself in that way. Basically because of my foundation. I'm not in competition with anybody. You know what I mean? And I try to stay very observant and respectful, overall respectful. How I plan on fixing those things is by obviously being more loving, unconditional loving. Right now, I have separated myself from certain friends. Not because they're not good friends, it's just because I need my space. I have a certain, I guess you could say, intention or agenda in life, and I need to manifest it. I need to get friends who share similar interests and practices, and grow that way. Part of my foundation is the acceptance of death. So any moment I'm not spending it doing what I really love to do, or any moment that I spend not really being who I am, feels very unfulfilling. And that alone is also a sign why I should question that and go through that. But where I'm at in life right now, I am trying to find happiness in any situation that I'm at. I'm glad I have this freedom to be able to provide these podcasts, be able to live the lifestyle that I want, which I'm actually just now recording. I've never really recorded my yoga videos or my workout videos. I recorded some, or me always prepping for since 2012, prepping my half a gallon of water with my little jar of lemon weekly. Those little practices eventually has allowed me to be more in tune with myself, because I'm prepared. I got my shit in order, and it helps me. But I can tell when I don't have my shit in order, how it doesn't help me, how it makes me feel like, and it's this might not be the right word, but it makes me feel unfulfilled. Even though I guess fulfillment, I thought it was like a one-time thing, but it's a constant practice of things that you love to do. That's how life works, at least for me. And the more I apply it, oh my God, it makes it so much simpler and easier. I still have strong emotions and feelings, that arise, and sometimes I do randomly cry. Sometimes I randomly laugh. Well, you know what's so crazy though? Society, we're so programmed to think so, I don't know, like negatively. If I get seen laughing out by myself, like with nothing, no headphones or nothing, just kind of talking to myself, I'll seem like a crazy person. If I'm out crying, I'll be seen as like a depressed person. When really, we're just making assumptions like you don't know. What if that person's, like I said, going through something in their head and they're just now getting and they're laughing about it? Or like they're just now piecing something that happened a few years ago and they're just now brought it back up and literally living it at the moment and feeling it. But since we are always constantly growing, at least for me, I have new perspectives and they help me ease. I still maybe laugh, maybe cry, but with the new perspective, I can now see the world or that reality a little bit better. And definitely applying more unconditional love is how I plan on fixing my lack of respect for certain things. Because there is things I don't respect. Oh man, I'm trying to think. I really can't. I'm trying to think. I don't respect people who don't allow people to express themselves. That's, you know what I mean? And that right there, I know is a vulnerability. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I need to learn how to allow those people to be. But that's probably one of my weaknesses on the, how come I don't have that respect for certain people. It's just, I can't stand not being allowed to express yourself. You know what I mean? Like, any censorship triggers me. And I don't get mad like, oh, I can't believe, but I will speak some truth on what it means to be censored. It's like, if you're going to censor, I'm not even going to get into that. But I have weaknesses. Obviously, I'm a human being. So to recap, respect. Remember, it is practical. This is not just regular philosophy. It is just philosophy if you don't put it into practice. But if you put it into practice, you're going to embody the knowledge. When you embody the knowledge, you actually can speak now from experience. People can give you certain information as to what that feeling was, but you really don't know until you feel it for yourself. And I suggest, if you want to be in a constant state of growth, which I am on a constant state of growth, or wherever you're at, practice and respect. And unconditional love, of course. But overall, be respectful and love yourself. Like my shirt says, love yourself unconditionally and empathetically, which means when you're observing your past actions and self, come from it in a loving way and be empathetic towards that old you, because you're no longer that person. You're just seeing what you're trying to change. So when you come out of that observation, don't come out as like, you piece of shit, Ricardo. Don't do that. Don't. Your body listens. There's scientific evidence now. Epigenetics suggests that our cells change by thought alone. Ooh. And if you want to learn more about that, research Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Limpton, and Greg Braden. They've been doing a lot of work for the last 20 years. And it makes sense why they're just now popping up. Because like I said, we're always sharing information. We just now have digital information that's traveling so fast. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. I'm sorry, corrupt humans who have been keeping information hidden from people so they don't grow. I'm very sorry. You're no longer going to profit off of other people's, I guess, back. Like, we're still going to do it for a few more years, though. Probably another 100 years. I don't really know, to be honest. So the empowering question of the day. Is respect important to you? And if so, how do you practice it? Ooh. As y'all know, respect is important to me, and I gave y'all some examples on how I practice it. I think I did. Well, if I didn't, I'm going to give you one right now. I practice respect by unconditionally loving people. As I just told y'all, one of my weaknesses is trying to unconditionally love people who don't allow me or allow others to express themselves. It's like I'm trying to say something, but I can't. It'll be like, but what if trying to help them, but they don't want it, but instead they try to belittle you or ridicule you, which I don't think that's right, And I think we can show respect by being understanding and accepting of others individuals expressing themselves without belittling them, or ridiculing them. Being loving and empathetic on their reality, you know what I mean? Just be understanding. The way we respond to them is going to pretty much shape their reality. That's how they know if you respect them or not, by the way you respond to the way they express. And there's different levels of respect. Obviously, it's a constant growth. Your level of respect today might be different for tomorrow, because like I said, we're in a constant growth. One thing that I've accepted is that I'm not only am I an energy or a spirit driving the body, I'm also the flesh. The flesh wants things, and that's how I feel like I know certain stuff, because I used to feed the flesh a lot more than I fed my spirit, and then it was a void that I was trying to fill in. And I'm sure I'm doing the same thing through podcasting, but I will say this is a lot healthier than what I was doing when I was younger. And so the next podcast, I gonna make it on unconditional love again. It's gonna be part 2. I feel like the first one was too quick. I didn't give enough explanations, enough examples. I want to give more examples and points of views, just so if we can relate to it as individuals. And I just still have the Meditating Cowboy stickers to give. So just email me with your mailing address, and I'll send some Meditating Cowboy stickers. Let me see. This is one. If you can see it, this is kind of old. It's got the little cowboy, the circle of life, and the horse chilling. This is another one, little bitty one. And then I have the big one. These are kind of old. If you're on the video version of the podcast, you'll be able to see those. Again, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to our 4th podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know that I have a lot of other stuff going on, and I know it's my fault that for always taking on more, but my previous lifestyle still is still on me. So I still, unfortunately and fortunately, still take care of some business for the family business. So it's not like I'm just being a hippie like I wanted to. Now I'm still being a hippie, quotations, enjoying my life, my investments or whatever. But I'm also still working, and I don't have the help that I want yet, because I'm still piecing stuff together. So please bear with me. And the outro, this is something I made up. I'm very proud of this. Time is a luxury most can't afford. It just came to me because time is the only thing we humans have. Once our time's up, you're done, son. And the reason I say that is because I was working towards this very moment, being able to work from home, chill from home. And that's time that I worked hard for. And I think, how we spend our time will ultimately decide what we love the most. And I'm trying to just use that time to create love and happiness, and trying not to fall in love. But I think if we are mindful on what we truly should value. Or at least if you value whatever you value, you want to make sure you give your time to that. And I just wish that whatever you value is bringing you fulfillment and happiness, and to those around you as well, and at least to you. But I want to remind y'all that y'all are so unconditionally loved, very much so, that you're allowed to believe that you are not. And what that means to me is that please be mindful that you're allowed to feel, think whatever you want. Even if somebody's trying to stop you, you still technically can do and say whatever you want. Just be loving, because you are allowed to do and be whatever you want. But I'm just suggesting be loving. Thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all next time. Have a wonderful week.